Good morning, Kasey. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to be here.
Thank you for doing this with me today. I'm so excited to talk to you for BCCB Pet.
Love it.
We're doing a video interview of Kasey Herrera, one of the co-owners of 2SpeakDog here in Richmond, Virginia. As you can see, we're at her facility today. It's a beautiful facility, and we're so happy to be here. So thank you.
Thank you.
As I zoom in on you and focus in, if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and
that's a hard one.
Yeah, well, let's get to it.
Like you said, my name's Kasey Herrera. I've been a part of 2SpeakDog since 2011. We started it in 2011. Before that, I actually had an interesting couple of jobs where I did human psychology and behavior. At least that's what the job dealt with. Litigation trial consulting. Before that, in the 90s, yeah, I'm going to age myself here. in the 90s, I also did market research essentially, but I did the analytical side, understanding why we think the way we think, those types of things. So human psychology and behavior
Is your background?
is my background.
Okay.
And then I just started applying that to dogs. And man, dogs are way more simple when it comes to the psychology and what they do, but we don't tend to take the time to find that side out. Anyways, where I'm from, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, those were the main stomping grounds as I was growing up. Did my formative years in Arizona. I got here in 01, so it's been a while.
Okay. And when did you make the transition from your old job to...
Well, I still do it a little bit.
Okay.
I still do it on the side. A lot of people say, why'd you go from this corporate job to dog training? Well, it's not just dog training to me. I am affecting a lot of humans as well, not just the dogs. Actually, it's more about the humans, as you know, and understanding them and what's doable for them. But it was like these cogs that fit perfectly together. So it wasn't really a stretch, honestly.
And what was the light bulb moment for you, as far as, were you just sitting there and you said, well, I'm really talented at this dog training thing, and here I go?
No, it was my dog. It was my dog Gannon, Sir Dungannon of Tyrone.
Oh.
He was one of my Great Danes.
Okay.
He was my heart dog.
Yep.
And Jennifer Kaiser was already my business partner. She was already training, so we'd always talk and we always threaten, oh, maybe one day I'll go into business for you. Then she started talking about the psychology behind things, and I started seeing, I traveled a lot for work, and Jen would actually take care of Gannon while I was out of town. At the time, Jen lived literally like a block and a half from me, so it was very convenient.
Yeah. And
I noticed how he was affecting humans so much. I'd walk him down the street and everybody would say, hi, Gannon. They didn't know me, I was just Gannon's mom. But when I saw his effect on humans, and people that were terrified of dogs could actually bond with him, people that, the experiences he had while I was gone, I was like, hey, and that was kind of my light bulb moment. It started getting brighter and brighter and brighter, because he had every kind of Great Dane-ism there was when it comes to health issues. And so I started cooking for him, thanks to Allison Favors, some of her recipes. And when I was cooking for him, all these dog things, I wanted to go into something dog. I could just feel it. Like I was going to do Gannon's cannons, because I was actually canning his food.
That'd be cute.
Yeah. And I'm like, I could custom make dog food for people and do this and that. And then I realized, then I started having those conversations with Jen, and it just started clicking. I'm like, well, I understand this.
It's pretty organic.
Yeah, it was.
And so when did you or when was the inception of
2010?
Okay.
And 2010, 2011, and Jen already had just LLC'd in 2010, right before 2011, Dog Talk.
Okay.
And so we co-branded for a while, and then it just went into
2SpeakDog. And you guys moved into this facility just a couple years ago, right?
Blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah, about 3 years ago. We had it for about a year before we could even do any work on it. So, and it's a complete overhaul, but we did it ourselves. We painted the ceilings. We had some volunteers and some help, thank goodness.
Yeah.
We had people, at the 11th hour, they told us that we needed to put in a parking lot. So we had a lot of generous people help us raise money for that. So, this whole thing has been
a labor of love.
Yes. Yes.
Well, it's perfect. And you guys have classes every day of the week, and you are booked out for months, so things are going really well, right?
Yeah, I wish there was more of Jen and I, so we
Clone
could
yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a quick, fun, think fast question.
Oh, no.
These are yes or no answers, and they're going to be 10, and so you can just say yes or no.
All right.
Number 1, crate training.
Yes.
Clicker training.
Eh.
Online training. That's a good.
Yes.
Agility.
Yes.
Extended leashes.
Absolutely no.
Good. Dog parks.
Not really.
Dogs on the bed.
Yes.
Dogs out while you're gone.
Depending on the dogs.
Free feeding.
No.
Running with your dog.
If it's old enough and the right breed.
Okay. And are there any of those that you'd like to elaborate on?
Sleeping with your dog.
Okay.
Because I hear a lot of trainers say you should not sleep with your dog, they should not be on the couch, things like that. I always tell my clients that, you know, I own everything in the house, right? When I say that, I don't mean that I go around going, it's all mine, you know, right? But I own it through different exercises and body language and energy, and, you know, I work with a lot of energy.
Right.
But I want to, with all my dogs, I want to gain respect through trust, not obedience through fear. And when I say that, that means also that they have to get, you know, it's respect, and that respect has to go both ways. But I own those things. I own the couch, I own the bed, I own the bones, I own the dog beds, I own the dog crates. They can't own any of that because I own it, if that makes sense.
Is that something that's innate in dog psychology where it's all about ownership and they need to request permission from people that are
well, yes and no. It depends
position of authority?
Or the dog of authority,
right.
Or, you know, a lot of houses, they let the dogs take that role. In my house, right now I have a pack of 8, it just went down from 9. It's me and them.
Right.
I don't do
hierarchies amongst them.
Yeah, they're going to do some natural, you know, based on age and all that, but I reward based on behavior, whoever gets me the best behavior. So that being said, the one thing that I like, I mean, when I come home, it's work. You know, I don't engage them in a, hi, I missed you, I love you. It's, okay, you guys, whoever's out of crate, so there's one of your questions. Yes, I have some dogs that are bonded and they're fine, they can be out of crate. I have the other dogs, some of my fosters and some that I've had for 3 years that I still won't leave out because I can't trust 100%. So they're crated, they're fine with it because I crate trained.
Yeah.
In my crates, not their crates, right?
Right.
And I do take some of my dogs that are out and still crate them once in a while so that they can stay acclimated.
Refresh it.
But when I come home, it's work. They go outside, they do their business, they come in, some eat, some go out. This is like a lunchtime, right? Some go out, go potty, those ones go crate. These, you know, it's a lot of moving parts. So it's all work. If it's the end of the day, it's still all work. And then I sit down and I invite them onto the couch. My dogs aren't allowed to just jump up on the couch when I'm there. And I have Great Danes and Mastiffs and a couple little LBDs, as I call them, little brown dog, little black dog, right? But they're not allowed to just jump up there because could you imagine if I had company and when it's the Mastiff, that would be, right? So it's very important that they have respect for that space. I own that space, but I share that space.
Okay.
Right? So they're allowed to come on the couch with me. That's how I sleep most of the time, with them all around
Snuggled.
me. And then the same thing with the bed. And this goes back into a rewarding behavior. Tink, one of my LBDs, one of my smaller and the oldest dog, would always come at the end of the bed and put her head there to ask permission to get on the bed. She does the same thing with the couch. So I liked it, so I kept rewarding Tink. Well, Huey, one of my Great Danes, got really upset about that. He's like, why does she always get up there first? So he started doing that because he was mimicking what she was doing. Well, then like, as dogs came in, the pack started growing. They were like, is this how we get on the bed? All right. So I can easily, 5 of them typically sleep with me, so I can easily see 5 heads at the bottom of the bed going like this. But I didn't train them to do that necessarily. I just rewarded based on behavior.
Do you have a California king? Or?
Just a king. I still get about this much, right? And they all want to be on me.
Yeah.
And I don't see that as wrong, as long as it's done with respect, and that is our bonding time, and that's our love time, and our cuddle time. I kind of consider it denning.
Yeah.
Right? And it does, to me, it brings me closer with them. They're not feeling that they need to protect me. I mean, probably to some point, right? But again, because I own the space, that helps minimize any of that no, my mommy, no, my mommy. There's no fighting over mama. And I have some of the most needy breeds, right? Great Danes and Mastiffs that are like, my mama.
Right.
So it's very important that I own the space, including me as that space.
Okay.
So yes, I think you can.
And
sleep
you
with your dog.
said absolutely not to extend the leashes. Can we briefly go over why that's important?
I've just seen so many bad things happen with them.
Me too.
I've seen humans get hurt with them. The ones with just the rope have gotten tied around legs and cut into them. I've seen pinkies come off or almost come off. I've seen the same thing when it gets wrapped around a dog's leg. Same sort of thing.
So just dangerous and
Dangerous physically.
not a good idea.
Physically in that way that they can get caught up. And every human I talk to that uses one, oh, I can push that button really quick. But the second that you're under stress, and why is it not working? It's locked up. What's going on?
Right.
And the dog can keep
It's
going. They can go out, and what I see is walking down the street, they're going out, they're hitting a corner before you're getting to that corner. It could be a dog that, although is on a short leash, right, it is reactive, and the dog should be able to walk even if it's reactive, but here comes Fluffy on the extended leash and could get in that other dog's face without the owner even being involved. Same thing with the road, and the same thing, the other scary thing is you can lose your dog if you drop it and it clanks
It's
back
scary.
behind.
Right.
Yeah, and then it scares them.
And then they run into the road. Or,
Yeah. So just avoid it.
Okay.
4-foot leash is your friend.
Okay, good to know. Have you ever been asked to train a cat?
Yes.
And how did it go?
Actually, Jerome Michael, who had a dear dog of mine, I felt like he was mine, Angus. I have dogs do feeding rituals because that does so much for the dog and for the human to practice. And the cat kept getting in when she would feed the cat. He would keep going by me and getting in, just putting his head in there. And I'm like, this is just unacceptable, Duro. We need to give the cat a feeding ritual. And she's like, are you kidding me? I said, no. So and this cat is a very easygoing kind of cat and dog-like, if you will.
Yeah.
Sorry, cat owners. But I just taught him to sit the same way I would teach a dog. I lured him into position. I kept teaching positioning, and then added in the word and the hand signal, and now he does a sit, a wait. Now I don't do as much energy work with him, but I just tell him sit, wait, and now I can pour his food in and do all that stuff, and I release him to the food, and he's like, okay.
That's awesome.
So yes, but I also do a lot of dogs that have anxiety towards the cats.
Okay.
And associating the calm with the cats so that they don't think cats just play, right? And that whole excitement. So I do a lot of cat work actually.
Well, that's exciting. Do you have personality types that most dogs fit into, like a characterization or like a grouping of personalities?
I do. What I've been seeing a lot of lately is insecure dominance, meaning a dog that is actually really fearful. And people tend to call those dogs aggressive. Mm-hmm. They're not necessarily aggressive dogs. They're insecure dominant, meaning they're unsure, they fearful, and they can come from different things. You know, there's different places that the fear can come from, or the insecurity can come from. It could be fear, it could be just insecurity, unsure, not knowing what to do. But then the aggression is the release, right? That's I don't know what to do, nobody else is doing it, I gotta do it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I gotta do it. Get back, go away, I don't want you to come near me, da, 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 da. Right? That's an aggressive act, doesn't mean it's an aggressive dog. Okay. But I see a lot of that lately, insecure dominance. And then we try to my goal is to drill to the root of the problem, not just stop the aggression, or what they're calling aggression, not the aggressive behavior. I want to fix that problem. So then they go, oh, you've got it, I don't have to do the work? Oh, thank you. And then they can
relax.
I have 4 fear cases. So Lucy, one of my Mastiffs, Kaiser, he was definitely insecure dominant, and he's just gone, whew, I don't have to do work anymore, I love it.
He's retired.
He's retired. Lucy, too, she was a major fear case, just fear of the world. Bean, she came to me as Butterbean, but you just call her Bean. She was fear fight, full blown. She will make contact.
Ready for bear.
Oh, yeah. And then there's Archer, who would just hide under, anything.
Whatever
he's not
find.
insecure dominant, he's just insecure.
Yeah.
So, in all these scenarios, it wasn't just me that did the work for them, it was my pack as well, being a part of the pack that helped.
Okay.
So I hit a bunch of them there.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's the biggest one I'm seeing a lot of right now. Of course, there's dominant. I have seen very, very few.
Just straight dominant.
Straight aggression.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen too often.
Yeah.
Unless, and I'm probably going to get a little backlash for this, but it's more, unless it's some sort of neurological
Brain
thing,
issue, right?
yeah, then you see it.
Okay.
But there's usually something you can drill down to, and you can find. And that's why when I sit down with people, such as yourself, I ask about what your day looks like. You know, what does your day look like? What do you do on a walk? How does your walk look? What do you know, it's not just, I need to get to know you so I understand your dog.
Right.
And that's a big part of it. It's the relationship you two have. So I can see how the dog's responding to you, because I can take your dog and do some amazing things with it for a few weeks, right?
But then you have to give him back. But
I have to give him back,
but
I have to teach you how to have a different way of being with him.
Right.
Sometimes.
So would you say that humans kind of fit into the same categories as far as personality?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot more nuances for the humans, especially when you start looking into, you know, some of the odder side of the brain. Definitely there's parallels, for sure. I always say your dogs mirror your energy, and that is also partly your personality, right? However, even if you have a very excitable personality, you can still change your energy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean you have to totally change your personality to change your energy, but they will mirror you, and if you're not attuned to that.
What personality type are you?
Here and in the classroom versus in somebody's home, it's very different than when I'm at home. I don't say a whole lot of words to my dogs. I don't say a lot of, when I come home, it's a lot of, okay, let's go. And it's body language and energy. And I crash.
Yeah.
I just sit down and go,
So it's pretty relaxed at home.
quiet. Well, I say relaxed. It's, you know, when I first pull up to my house, it does sound like I have a kennel there because Tink sets everybody off.
Yeah.
But as soon as I walk in the door, I put the code in, I open the door, everybody shuts up. Mom's home, right?
You gotta go to work.
Gotta go to work. They know that they're working. I don't get a lot of company, so when I do, they get a little excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, very different. More, I try to give all I have to the people that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that they understand. I want them to understand that I'm hearing them, and we're gonna work on whatever their issue is.
So you're on all day long, and then you go home, and you have to
I go home and breathe.
recalibrate a little bit. What would you say is the most common mistake people make with training?
I see it a lot with fosters, where they try to give, it's more about, I know your story, you've had a hard time, and I'm going to give you all the love in the world. Lucy, my Mastiff, at the fear case, I know her story. It was not pretty, and I've seen worse stories, but she melts my heart. And mostly my heart melters are my male dogs, but Lucy, I don't know what it is about that girl. Just thinking about her makes me tear up.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line of when the fact that she was finally coming up to me was a great, honor.
Right.
I was like, yay, she's finally coming up to me. When she started coming up and demanding from me, I'm like, okay, now it's time.
Now we've crossed the line.
Now I need to own my space. And we think that by loving them, by feeding them, by giving them, free fed, you want another cookie, you want love, you want to hold me, I want to hold you, I want to do these things. They overlove almost, and it's hurting them more.
Creating a monster.
It can.
Okay.
It can create a monster, but it also doesn't help with the insecurity. You're not helping them be more confident in themselves and in their person.
Okay.
So over loving, and that's why I say, but
Over nurturing.
Yeah, over nurturing. Yeah.
Okay. So I fall into that category. If you had, I'm going to go home and cry. If you had a totally, I already asked you that. You are so petite. How do you get these big Great Danes and Mastiffs to listen to you and respect you?
Because it's not about being physical.
It's just your energy.
It's about, like I said earlier, dogs are attracted to calm, confident energy. You don't have to, and so many times, again, I'll go back to saying, we want to gain respect through trust, not obedience through fear. Obedience through fear would be like, hey, right? Trying to hold that dog back, pulling the dog back, pushing the dog.
Which you would not be able to do with a lot of these.
I mean, you've seen
dogs.
pictures of me walking 3 or 4 Great Danes. It's not because I can physically control them. It's because they trust me. And I wouldn't do that with, just 4 Great Danes I don't know,
right?
Obviously. They need to trust that I've got it, and that when they look at me and go, there's a squirrel over there. Come on, let's go, leave it. Okay. Or there's a dog, or there's a human, or something, or a dog off leash. That's the one that happens in my neighborhood a lot when I'm walking a pack. And they come up, they have to trust that I've got it. And I have to posture, I have to do those things. And the dog kind of looks at me and goes, are you crazy, lady? But okay, we'll leave.
Not messing with you guys.
What's that?
Not messing with you guys.
Yeah. So if they wanted to go, physically, they could go.
Right.
But the point is that I'm the one that's leading them. Right? I don't like to use the word pack leader. I don't like to use the word alpha. I like to just say, hey, I'm mom. You guys are my kids. Oh my gosh. Behavior community just had a heart attack. I always say I do have fur kids.
The internet just exploded.
Yes, yeah. I say I have fur kids, but my fur kids have special needs, and their special needs are their dogs.
Yeah.
I have to meet their dog needs. They're not my human children. They're my dogs. But I'm not going to have kids, and so they are. They are kind of my kids that I can actually leave alone and put in a crate.
Yeah.
A little easier.
Go out to dinner and not get a babysitter.
Yeah. Well, I still need a babysitter if I go anyway.
So do I sometimes. You answered this. You have 8 dogs at home now. I thought you had 9. So
I did have
congrats
9.
on
hopefully we'll see
adopting
tonight.
out somebody.
We'll see tonight if it's stay again.
And that being said, you foster and rehab a lot of dogs at your house, and a lot of them are for Fetch a Cure through their Pen Pals program. How did you get involved with Fetch a Cure, and why, of all the nonprofits for animals, did you choose Fetch a Cure over the rest of, I'm sure, the people that were asking you to be involved with their nonprofits?
Yeah, and there have been, yes. Let's see, I met Joanne, Rebecca, and Robin right when we started 2SpeakDog. And I found out more, it was before I started 2SpeakDog, I got a flyer for Pets on Parade. And I really wanted to check this out. And I'm like, I don't care what happens, if nobody wants to go with me, I don't care, I want to check this thing out. So, and it was before, like I said, before 2SpeakDog happened. And so I went, and that's when I started meeting. I met Joanne first, I think. And Joanne, you just stand next to her and you're just like, oh, you just made my day.
Love her. Yep.
Yes. So meeting the people and how passionate they were about this. Of course, the cause is great. The cause for a lot of places that I still volunteer for are wonderful.
Right.
But it was the story behind it, how it was founded, and to find out that I knew people that founded it that I didn't even know.
Right.
Tony Stevens being one. I knew Tony, but I didn't know she was part of Fetch for the longest time. But it just all made sense. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. And meeting the people that are involved in the purity and the passion.
Yeah.
There wasn't an ulterior motive. It was the purity and the passion that made me go, you know what? You guys are phenomenal.
And now you're on the board.
Oh, yeah, which I kind of keep forgetting. Because I still kind of go, to them. But yeah, I'm on the board now. But again, it's the mission statement of Fetch that's important to me. I'm also involved with the Friends of Fetch, their mission statement to get the word out to people. That to me is huge.
Right.
I'm involved with Pen Pals, which is going to the prison and training the dogs there, which Pen Pals falls under the umbrella of Fetch a Cure.
Right.
Let me rephrase that. Pixies, Pen Pals.
Yes. I always forget the Pixies.
Yeah. But what else am I involved in? Let's see. Pen Pals. Yeah, that's where we get. Sorry, let me back up. That's where we go to the prison and train the dogs. Actually, I train the handlers to help train the dogs, and then they get them all prepped for at least CGC prepped, and then we get them adopted out.
It's a great program.
It's a win-win program. That's where the human psychology and the dog psychology work real well together.
Yeah. That being said, do you ever think, since you see so many dogs that have come from so many backgrounds, do you ever think that there are animals that are too far gone is probably not the right way to say it, but unable to be rehabilitated because of their history or their current state of mind?
Yes, but it's not always about the dog. It's hard decisions to make, and it's a lot of times out of safety for other humans and children and other dogs.
Yeah.
I can't keep, and all the people that can do some of these dog rehabs or working with or getting them through are always full. So sometimes it's not even just about can the dog be rehabbed, it's
the space
who
for
could
them.
do it.
Okay.
But yeah, you got to make that hard choice sometimes, and I'm telling you, that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
And saying to somebody that, this is what I'm going to turn into you right now, to say to somebody that, do I think potentially the dog could move forward? Yes. But do I think that there's a risk factor involved with it, and who is it that's going to do this?
Right.
And then, of course, that's why I have 9 dogs in my house.
Yeah.
So, because I just don't like to say no.
Right.
But I've had to make the choice too, even at a dog that was at my house. I had to make that choice for safety reasons. And,
Heartbreaking.
yeah.
Yep.
But yes, I do think there's some that, not often, but some that not weighing all those options, just looking at the dog and say, can you fix this? Very few.
Right.
But yeah, they're out there.
Okay.
Again, and I'll go back to that neurological issue, things like that.
To hopefully move away from that in the future and to kind of prevent that from happening, when do you think owners should start training their dogs?
As soon as you get your dog.
Okay, so day one,
there's something. There's always something, whether it's just learning how to get your dog to a calmer state, a settle hold. You can do that with, a 7-8-week-old dog. Starting to learn how to engage with you. What's the first thing everybody does when they play with them?
Right.
Right? And then they go, I don't understand why they're mouthing me so bad with those needle teeth when they're, 2 months old.
So when do your puppy classes start?
For the safety of everybody, we start usually around 10 weeks because that's when they get their second round of shots.
Okay.
So it's more for the dog safety, for the sicknesses that they could have.
Okay.
'Cause we don't know where everybody gets their dogs from.
Right.
I mean, we talk to them, but we don't know every single breeder.
Right.
So yeah, we start them at 10 weeks. And that's our puppy socialization. And I love that our puppy socialization is not necessarily just obedience. We do teach a couple obedience things, but is really teaching the humans what puppy play looks like, how to set the level of escalation, how to get them to a calmer state, how to get the human to a calmer state, understanding what natural imprinting stages are for the dog. So it's a lot of human learning while the dogs are also doing some socialization. Then we take breaks, we take it down, we do some work, and we do some talk, and then we do it again.
Play.
So they're learning a lot. And I got to tell you that puppy socialization is crucial in a dog's development.
Okay, good to know for everybody.
Yeah.
We're going to do another Think Fast real quick,
gosh,
and then
okay.
we have a few more questions, and then we're done. These are rapid-fire dog breeds.
Dog breeds. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm bad at breeds.
This is going to be a lot of fun then. Okay, so number 1, goofiest.
I would say a Harlequin Great Dane.
Okay, very specific. Most intelligent.
Depends. See, I think every dog is smart, so I'd have to elaborate on it.
Okay.
Obedient smart, I'll say poodle.
Say who?
Poodle or border collie for obedient smart.
Okay. Happiest.
Labs,
Most athletic.
border collies, or Australian shepherds.
Okay. Most loyal.
No, that's where I'm going to be a little biased and say Great Danes and Mastiffs.
Okay.
Mastiffs.
Yeah. Hardest to train. Like if a breed walks through the door, are you like, oh, this is going to be tough?
Depending on the owner, I would go to any of the Mastiff breeds, especially like the Dogos and the Corsos too. But also, I'm going to go back to like somebody who's related to a lab and say a Newfie.
Really?
Yeah, they can learn the obedience, but they're smart enough to go, and people say, my dog's just not smart. I'm like, no, he's too smart. And he's pushing every one of your buttons. And Newfies are, what I love about them too, they hit about 3 and it's like a light switch and they go, oh, I'm perfect. But that 3 years, you're like,
thinking you made the wrong decision. Strongest?
Mentally or physically?
Physically.
Oh gosh, I don't know. You can look at your bully breeds just because they're so
stocky.
But that can run across the gamut of Mastiffs and
True. Best large dog breed. That's too hard for you, probably.
Large or giant, right?
Let's say giant.
Well, you know. I like Irish Wolfhounds too. I just don't like the grooming.
Yeah, I love them. Best small breed.
Like teeny?
Yeah. Do you ever get Chihuahuas in here for training? And
Yeah, we get a lot of Chihuahuas. We get a lot of, you know who I've been falling in love with, which I didn't think? 2 breeds. Frenchies and Pugs.
Really?
Never thought, ever. But I have a few clients that I just, oh my God, they're here!
Yeah. Look forward to their visits. And this one's tough, but dog versus cat.
Oh, dog.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do you have any cats?
I don't. I did growing up.
Okay.
And I like cats. And I like cats that grow up with dogs because it's so great for your dogs as well.
When you have 8 dogs, it's a little
well,
bit
when you have
hard
a turnover like I do at my house, it's a little harder. But I honestly, the thing I don't like about cats is the cat box.
Yeah.
I get asked the question all the time, is the dog good with cats? And I'm like, it depends on the cat.
Yeah.
If it's a cat that sits there and says, what are you doing, dog? Versus a cat that goes, what are you doing, dog? And runs off. That's the cat that's probably going to get chased.
Yeah.
You know? But.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Old.
False.
My goals for me and for the company, I want us to be able to touch a lot of people. So I want to figure out a way to be able to take what we do and touch more people. I don't want to franchise. I'm too much of a
Micromanage.
Yeah. I've let go a lot lately, But we do want to make sure our quality is good. So when we hire other trainers, they go through a rigorous, intern process before they even do working training and so on. But it's because we have a quality product and we want to keep it that way. So it's not that I want to do multiple locations or things, but I think I want to be able to somehow reach out, do more seminars, and touch more people. And that's something that I would like to actually do. And I would love to, still with dogs.
Yeah.
And I would like to have a facility, a training rehab facility of some sort, so that not all 9, 15, 20 dogs stay at my house.
Right.
But that I could go there and work with the dogs and have, people working with me there as well.
Okay.
That would be ideal in 10 years.
That's awesome. What do you think it is about 2SpeakDog that makes it so special and so different from other facilities or other companies?
So I like that question. It used to be hard for me, like, oh gosh, how do we separate ourselves? But to me now it's a little bit easier. I think it's important, a few things. We work with both obedience and behavior. It's not just behavior, it's not just, one or the other. It's teaching people why, not just it is. And letting people know that there's so many different ways to teach the same thing. And if you come in here with, a couple things that you already do, we're not going to reinvent the wheel for you. We're going to work with what works for the dog. And because we're experienced, we have enough tools in our toolbox to say, let's try this. Okay, let's try this. Let's try that. We've got to let them know that it's not just this, and if it doesn't work, there's a problem. Right? So I think that the flexibility, that we're malleable when it comes to those things, but teaching you and having the understanding to take the time to teach you, not just teach the dog. And that's when I get back to the why. It's very important to teach why more than it is to teach what.
Okay.
Right? Wait, before I move on, there was something else I was going to say about that. I think, you know, the behavior, being able to move, what else? We teach a lot about energy. For obedience class, we teach a lot about energy. And as hokey as it may sound sometimes, and some of my clients are like, it's how dogs know us, right? And you've heard me say this before. Dogs know us by scent, energy, and respond to body language. When you can understand those three things and how they do that, you can start to communicate with your dog, and very quickly, and how your energy affects them. And I really teach that. I really want people to know that, because it seems hard, but it's really not that hard as long as you can focus on it. And then the dog goes, oh, that's what you wanted me to do? And the human goes, it just worked.
And they're light bulb moment.
Yeah, and I said, see, I'm not special. You can do this too. You just did that.
Okay.
Right? Sorry.
No, that's great. And for your final question, and this can maybe be even a segue into another interview if you'll let me do another interview with you in the future. What are 3 key phrases to live by with your dog, as far as like the 3 top things that you say? Or I know there are probably more than 3.
I have a ton of sayings that I say that my one Christmas my interns made a whole list of things that Jen and I say as like phrases. But one of the key things, and one of the things that I want to promote the most, is gain, which I've said it like 3 times here. I want to gain respect through trust, not obedience through fear. People, when they hear that, immediately say, oh, well, of course, but we do it all the time. We gain respect, we get that respect through fear all the time. So that's my key one. I want to say it again because I really want people to understand it. I want to gain respect through trust. That my dog can look at me and say, I will submit to you because I trust you, not because I'm afraid of you. Not gain respect through, or gain respect through trust, not obedience through fear.
Okay.
Right? Anticipate, but don't create.
Okay, that's a good one.
Right? Meaning, when you're walking down the street, anticipate that, yes, there could be a dog around this corner, especially if your dog might be a little reactive, but even if your dog's not. But don't, here's another one. Tension creates tension.
I was going to say that one. Yeah.
If the dog's coming down the corner, you don't go, because that's anticipate, but don't create. Tension creates tension. Pull that tension, the dog gets tension. What's wrong? Mom's scared, and we're leaving. I better go take care of that, right? You can create it. So those are 3. I could go on.
I was going to say calm gets the reward.
Yeah, the calm gets the reward.
Breathe.
Always breathe. Always breathe. What do I say about that? I say when you take a breath, and it's physically, it just physically changes you, brings oxygen to your brain, and physically slows your heart. Your dogs feel that. You come down a notch. You balance out. Right?
Awesome.
I want to make some T-shirts of some of these sayings.
You should. Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
Well, that's all I have for you today. You did great. It wasn't too bad, I hope.
I had a great interviewer.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll get to do another one sometime soon.
Anytime. Maybe we could do a demo of something.
Yeah.
Have a dog involved. That way
That would
it'll
be
make
great.
it easier for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate it.